Fantom is down over 40% in just a few weeks. Is this now the opportunity to buy the dip? What am I doing? What adjustments am I making to my Fantom position? I'm going to break that down and a lot more. If you appreciate these updates, smash all the likes. And of course, do not forget to subscribe. If you want to buy any Fantom, you can do so using Bybit, BitGet, Mexi, the exchanges I use. I'll leave the link in the description for you guys. Now, look at Fantom here, guys. A really painful period here on Fantom. I mean, this was a coin that just weeks ago, let's take the date here. 18th of March on this weekly candle, we hit a high of $1.22. Now sitting at 32-cent range here on Fantom. It's a painful fall here to the downside. And the question now is this a good opportunities, or is now not a good time to be getting into Fantom? First and foremost, when we talk about not chasing green candles, this is exactly what we're talking about. People were FOMOing in at $1.22. Fantom could not do any wrong. Michael Kong was giving interviews. You had Andre Cronje tweeting. You had many updates and partnerships with VC funds. The canonical stablecoin. Things were looking really positive and the price surged. Look at these weekly candles here, surging 67% in a single weekly candle. This weekly candle, another 25%. Off we went to $1.22 and everybody was FOMOing. Had you have been a little bit patient, right? Like I always share in my videos, you could be avoiding that. You could be instead buying here, and the difference is a 73% retracement. And this is an important lesson for everybody that's looking to build their position in altcoins. Buy from positions of strength. Has anything fundamentally changed in those weeks on Fantom? Fundamentally, no. This market pullback, this panic we've seen over the last 36 hours, I've said in yesterday's video, is a market global dynamic. Right? This is not to do with Fantom or your favorite altcoin right now. If you've got an altcoin that fundamentally hasn't changed and you want to buy the dip on it, is now a good time? Well, what do you think? This market dipped because of a few different factors, right? The first, the unwind of the Japanese carry trade. Bank of Japan increased interest rates for the first time in a long time, 25 basis points. People want to sell their dollars, get out of risk assets, get back into their Japanese yen. That's one thing. The market is also worried about slow growth. Company earnings. Oh, look at those job figures, a bit scary. Why is the Fed not cutting rates? That's another concern. That concern could be overplayed, right? Yes, we got some weakening jobs figures, but we need to wait for more data. We can't just panic immediately. Even if the Fed did do a 25 basis point rate cut, it's not going to have a massive impact overnight anyway. We're pretty much there. 6 weeks from now, we're getting a rate cut. It's pretty much done, right? It's nailed on certain. The market expects it. Let's just enjoy it for what it is. Let's just be patient. Right? And so that's something we need to understand right now. So already you're seeing markets are rebounding. I'm going to cover this off quickly before getting back into what I'm doing for Fantom. Today, we saw the Nikkei bounce 10%. So we're starting to see a bounce here. You can also see the S&P down and the NASDAQ bouncing as well, which is really positive news as well. If you take a look at the Fear and Greed Index, the Fear and Greed Index was horrible, right? It really did fall yesterday. And again, this is a reminder to us and a reminder to myself first and foremost. These are the days I want to nibble. And that is why yesterday I took some nibbles, right? I'm DCAing into Fantom. I had another 50 grand into Fantom because ultimately I want to back up my speech. If I'm saying buy from position of strength, then I want to make sure I'm doing that. Because these types of purchases in times of peak fear, irrational fear, right? Which is what we saw yesterday. Panic, nothing to do with Fantom. Pure panic globally are the times I want to put my liquidity to work. Because guess what? That's ultimately what investing is, right? Investing is your ability to say, hey, when everybody's panicked and removing their liquidity, do I have excess liquidity to put into the market such that when everybody is excited and FOMOing in on the next pump up to $1.22, I'm sitting there and taking the rewards and the profit? That's ultimately what investing is. Right? If you can pull the trigger and have the ability, the control of your mindset to pull the trigger and understand, hang on, this was a global issue. A lot of it was overdone. Already we're seeing Bitcoin bounce. Then that's something that's positive for me. Okay? So let's take a look here quickly at the EMA ribbon. Yes, we've lost our weekly EMA ribbon, right? Yes, we could get lower price points here on Fantom. I'm not denying either of those. We're trying our best here. You can see the dip is being bought here around the very important 32-cent support. If we lose that, do understand we could be falling lower, guys, right? We could be falling down towards 20 cents, 25 cents, 24 cents is important support as well. Do not be surprised to see some of those levels. So when I'm DCAing now, I'm not DCAing going, oh, we're going to bounce and go straight to the moon now. No, I just want to nibble. And if we fall lower, I'll nibble some more because So I want to build a lower cost basis. I know that my investment thesis for Fantom is minimum in the next cycle, when we really start to pop off, expect to get back to the Fibonacci golden ratio. That's a $2.22 to $2.33 move. So for me, buying Fantom all day long at 31 cents, for me, is a no-brainer. Playing that towards its all-time highs where things get a bit more exciting, getting back to that $3, $3.50 mark. And if we can work to our golden ratio extension at 1.618 level on the Fibs, $5.54. And again, guys, if none of this Fibonacci stuff is making sense to you, take my TA curriculum, ijazcrypto.com/TA. I'll leave the link in the description. You'll learn all of this stuff. So hopefully this isn't all gibberish for you guys. So in essence, buying at 31 cents for a play at least returning to all-time highs. If Fantom just returned to where it was previously, when it's improved its tech, it's got better partnerships, better VC backing, more notoriety, can we not get back to previous all-time highs? That's what I make my investment decision on. Right? And that's something you guys will want to learn to do as well. Try to make your decisions based on what's my base case, what's my target case, what's my stretch case. In this case, can we get to that $5.55? And then by all means, set yourself a moon case. What if Fantom took over? What if it's the best layer one solution? What would my return be? And what are all those cases? And of course, just make sure you've got a level of comfort. But for me, I would be very, very disappointed, and I'm sure the team would be very, very disappointed if Fantom couldn't even return back to that $2 mark here, which is the Fibonacci golden pocket. I think for me, that's the play that I'm making here, right? You can talk about the higher, bigger targets here, but that play is a strong play. Just buying at 30 cents, depends on what size you're trading with, but buying at that level and working your way to $2.20, $2.30 range, it's a good ROI. And I think that's what a lot of people make the mistake of in crypto, is they're always looking for this 1000x. Right? Instead of just looking, hang on, why can't I just get 10x's? Why can't I get 8x's? What's wrong with a couple of 8x's? If you had a couple of good 7, 8, 9, 10x's in your portfolio where the altcoins do a 10x, you're doing pretty well. And if you could repeat that again and again, time after time, your portfolio is going to grow like crazy. Unfortunately, everybody wants the next Doge, the next Shiba, the next Floki, because they're all searching for this lottery ticket to 1000x. Hopefully this makes sense to you guys. As you can see, EMA ribbon doesn't look great, but we got work to do. If we take a look at, more importantly, the Bitcoin chart, that's where we're going to get guidance, right? Ultimately, we need to see what is it that Bitcoin's doing if we want altcoins to hold up. And I want to point your attention to this very important chart here. We have somehow managed to stay within the structure that I was sharing. Before the market dumped, guys, before we got the crazy dump, I didn't know about the Japanese unwinding, but you can see that the market started falling. And I said, guys, I'm buying here and I'm buying here. And you go back to my videos a couple of days ago, I put these yellow dots in and look at that. Those perfect buy orders hit, right? Those levels which I mentioned have hit, and we're trying our best now to bounce from here. And that's what's going to be important. If we can somehow bounce from here and hold this structure, that is hugely bullish. Despite all the tensions that are going on, fears around recession, fears around the Fed not cutting soon enough, fears around the stuff going on with Iran and Israel and the geopolitical situation right now, fears around the Japanese yen carry trade now being unwound as well. Pretty phenomenal, I'd say, if Bitcoin can maintain its bull flag pattern despite all of that. That being said, it'd be silly for me to not prepare for the opposite. I will be prepared for the fact that we break down from this pattern and we start heading down to support, which sits at 45. I know that won't be pleasant. I know you guys won't want to hear that. In fact, hopefully it doesn't happen. But it'd be silly for me to not prepare for that. And I know exactly what I want to do. If we start heading into that level, I want to be buying the dip, right? Like I said to you, into this EMA ribbon on the weekly, all the way down even into these levels, I want to be buying. I'm happy buying into those 50s. I'm happy buying even into 48s, 49s. If we lose our weekly EMA ribbon on a weekly chart, then we have to reevaluate, right? We're not in a bullish situation anymore. We've then been a sideways / bear market situation, and we'll need to evaluate that then. But for now, the data suggests it. This is just a pullback into our EMA ribbon. Yesterday was a flash crash that did hurt. That wick did go below our weekly EMA ribbon, but we managed to buy the dip quite quickly, and that's all that's important. If the later part of this week starts pushing us down again and we get a weekly candle close below, we're going to have to reevaluate. Hope this video makes sense, guys. If you appreciate this type of content, don't forget to smash up the likes. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.